Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Grow Up Podcast.
Hello, hello.
I'm joined today by Mr. Zachary Ramsey.
That is my name.
And you know what I'm really excited about, actually?
What's that?
I think this is going to be like the longest conversation we've had all week.
Yes.
Zach started working the night shift, and so pretty much when I get back from the boys' practices and stuff, he is leaving. So this is the longest we've sat down and talked to each other all week.
Mm-hmm. I'm sleepy.
So he is, his nighttime just ended, and it is like 5:30. So he's just waking up for the day. So thank you for joining me in your precious downtime.
Of course.
And not abandoning me.
Why would I
in
do
my
that?
time? Well, because today we're talking about abandonment issues.
I think I'm legally obliged to keep you going.
Yeah, in all aspects, you vowed. You vowed to not abandon me.
Yeah.
So you know what made me think of this topic actually was that video we were watching the other day of that guy from Atlanta and how he lives in the abandoned apartment complex.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
What did you think about that? Like, do you think it was real?
I don't know, maybe.
Like, did you, I don't know how many, I don't know how many videos you saw. There's like 29 parts.
Oh, no, I saw like 3.
Oh, okay. So like one of the things he says, so there's this guy on TikTok, he's like, it's called Menu Gate. And he swears that he lives in an abandoned, like that nobody actually lives in his apartment complex.
Right.
And some of the clues were like, he was like, I've never seen another person. And then he said that they stuck like Chinese menus on every door.
Yeah.
And that like a week later, they were like all still there except for like 2.
Right, I saw that.
And he was like, how in the world, like nobody's gone in and out of their doors for a week? Like,
yeah, that's crazy. And all the cars were covered in dust. I saw that too.
Yeah. Yeah, and then all of a sudden, then all the menus were gone. And he's like, okay.
I'm just like, who is he paying the rent to?
Yeah.
Is it like, does he have to go to a company somewhere, or is there like a landlord that collects it or something?
Right. Like, we haven't seen our landlord in years.
All right.
So.
Maybe they're dead.
Oh, that's terrible. I don't think the checks are getting cashed. So somebody's cashing them. But like there was one where it's like there's water in the stairwell that just like pouring down on him. And he's like, this is the problem with living in an abandoned thing. Like, who do you tell? He's like, there's no one else here. I've emailed the maintenance email. He's like, and it is just raining down in the stairs.
He's getting scammed.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what do you mean?
Like
he's paying to live somewhere.
An apartment that isn't an actual place. It's just a building.
I don't think but they have
they're just pretending to be like a realtor.
But there's like hundreds of apartments in that place
that are empty, apparently.
Yeah, but like then like there's like trash day. He said there is like 2 confirmed other people, you know.
Maybe they're getting scammed too.
Yeah, maybe. But it's just like weird thing. Like if you haven't seen it yet, you guys should go look at like Menu Gate on TikTok because it's just interesting. It's like what?
It's weird.
It's so weird. Like there was one point where he was like, "Oh, they're making me think that new people are moving in across the hall," and then this furniture sits wrapped for like 4 days out in the hall. He's like, "Who leaves furniture in the hall for 4 days?"
Right.
You know, like don't you need that bed? Exist. Yeah, people that don't exist. Exactly. It's so interesting. Oh my gosh. That would be our cat penis. Okay, so that made me think of like abandoned things. So this episode kind of has some abandonment issues as well as sprinkled in some like abandoned places, just abandonment altogether.
I see.
So do you think you have abandonment issues?
Maybe.
What do you think abandonment issues are?
I don't know.
Like how would you define it?
Like, somebody who's abandoned like as a child and then they're afraid that everybody else is going to leave them.
Okay. So just being like afraid that someone's going to leave you.
Yeah.
Do you think you have abandonment issues?
Yeah.
Yeah? You think I'm going to leave you?
Maybe. Everybody else seems to.
I haven't left.
Yet.
Okay. So this one may be triggering. All right, here we go. The first one says, am I the jerk for abandoning my girlfriend at an amusement park?
Yeah.
Okay. That's what you think, but here we go. I, 22 male, have been dating this girl, 21 female, for almost a year. I cannot read. My housemates and I decided we wanted to go to an amusement park. My girlfriend happened to have that day off and wanted to spend it with me. While I have been dating her for close to a year, I have known her since high school. I know she has a fear of heights. Before we left, I explained to her that we were getting on all the biggest rides and that I would rather stay home than not get on the rides. She said it wouldn't be a problem for her. Fast forward and we're here now. We get on the first ride, and even though she is nervous, everything goes fine. Next ride comes up and she starts hyperventilating while waiting in line. I leave the line with her and get her something to drink. When she calmed down, I got back in line. We had fast passes we weren't using because of her, so I was able to catch up with my housemates. When I found my girlfriend afterwards, she was talking to a couple that I didn't know. I could look at her and tell that she'd been crying. The man walks up to me and whispers in my ear, "What kind of man abandons his girl when she needs you?" I thought this was disrespectful, but I let it go and started toward the next ride. On the way, my girlfriend told me she couldn't do it and started apologizing. I told her it was fine and not to worry about it. Once we got to the ride, she held our phones and waited for us to get off. This repeats until we get something to eat and we left. She looked annoyed as we left, but said nothing was wrong, so I didn't think much of it. Once I dropped her off at home, she went off on me. She said that when she got out of the second line, I should have stayed with her and not gotten on any more rides. We argued for maybe 5 minutes before I left, so I need opinions. Am I the jerk?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah. I still don't think you leave somebody at an amusement park.
Yeah, but he didn't leave her there. She just didn't want to ride the rides.
I don't know. Yeah, I probably would have just left.
Yeah. Like,
but I'm not going to stand in line for an hour while you're crying and then not go on any more rides and spend more money here at this place where food is ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, here's my thing, is that he had plans to go with his friends to the amusement park and she wasn't invited. And then she wanted to spend time with him. And he knew that she didn't like rides. So he was like, "Hey, just so you know, we're going to be riding big rides." And she's like, "Yeah, totally cool." And then she's mad at him that he went on all the rides.
But yeah.
I don't think he's a jerk. I don't think he's a jerk at all. I think she's a jerk.
Yeah.
Like, he got out of line with her when she hyperventilated. But then once she was calmed down, he went back on the ride.
Mm-hmm.
He met up with the people.
Well, then yeah. She's wrong.
Yeah. I think so too. I think it's unreasonable to ask. Like, I don't think he's abandoning her at all. First off, she invited herself. Then she agreed that she will be okay with you getting on the rides, and then expects you to not do what you came and paid for.
Right.
I mean, like, the other day we went. Now, this wasn't like for you, but we went to Six Flags, and that was me. I was the coat holder, sit at the exit of all the rides thing.
Well, yeah, but you weren't like traumatized or anything.
No. I was just sick. I tried to ride one ride.
Yeah, I rode several rides and I was sick.
You were really sick after Mr. Freeze. I rode the tiny little Pandemonium little ride.
I think they were at Six Flags too because they said fast passes.
No, that's true. But then they said housemates. That makes me think they're like...
It's a flash pass at Six Flags.
Yeah. Maybe like a Disney, isn't it? Fast Pass?
That was like the Genie... Was it called a Fast Pass?
I don't remember.
But there's not like big rides at Disney that much. No. There's like a couple, like one in a couple of the parks.
Listen, Tower of Terror, big ride, scary, big drops.
Yeah, you cried.
Yeah, I did. I cried.
It was fun.
Who were you? You were sitting with Noah and my dad?
Yeah.
Nobody cried up there.
Mm-mm. In front of you? We were sitting in front of you.
Yeah. Listen, I don't like drops.
Yeah, it's scary. And the thing opens up and it's like you're coming out of the building. And
I wouldn't know. I never opened my eyes.
Mm-hmm. And it goes up and down, up and down, up and down.
So the first time I went to Disney and my mom rode it with my friend and I like totally regretted not trying. Like I was like, oh, yeah. Such a chicken. I should have just tried it. Because most Disney rides I can handle. So I was like, I'm going to try it.
Yeah.
I'm glad I tried it because never again.
Yeah.
Don't have to feel bad about it anymore.
I went on a school trip for band, and a bunch of people were like pulling the slack out of their seatbelts and flying up in the air.
Oh my gosh.
It was fucking retarded.
Yeah. Just like way up in the air.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, like a few feet off of their seat.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you doing? You're going to die.
You didn't participate in that?
No, absolutely not.
You're holding on to legs.
I barely want to be on the stuff.
Yeah. I thought you liked it.
It's all right. I mean,
doesn't give you the thrill that... I don't know, like, what are you thinking?
Especially now, I guess that I'm getting older or whatever, I just don't do stuff like that enough. It was just making me so sick. Like, It was fun. It's not, like, scary, like I think I'm going to die or anything. It's just, like, all the adrenaline and stuff.
Yeah. Like, what are you thinking?
And the G-forces.
Yeah.
What am I thinking?
Yeah, like during the ride.
Hold on to everything and, like, don't breathe.
So...
like, try not to show how, like, terrified you feel.
Yeah. So you were riding with on Mr. Freeze, you were riding with Jackson and Reed. Mm-hmm. Was it like how many to a seat?
It's two to
so they sat together and you sat by yourself?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, they sat behind me.
Yeah.
In the very last seat.
So you couldn't see if they were like excited or like scared or anything?
No, but I can hear them on all the rides we went on together. I can hear them screaming and laughing. Yeah.
Like laugh
and
screaming?
Jackson's like talking.
That's what worries me. He loves it so much. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do? I can't ride these with you.
He's like, I was worried, but I actually really like this.
While the ride is going. It's like 85 miles an hour. I looked it up. It's like 85 miles an hour and he's talking.
It's like one of the fastest ones out there.
Yeah. The Batman, I used to love Batman. I'm really upset that I just couldn't do it. I was already
Batman
so sick.
Is fun. That's the only one that I'm like super into.
Yeah. That's it. Noah was pumped about that.
I like the Titan too, but I was just like too sick when it was time to go ride the Titan.
Yeah. I cannot do the drops. Jackson.
It's really only the big one in the very beginning.
Yeah, the rest of the ride I think is just like chilling to recover.
And it like goes underground and stuff.
Ugh. Yeah, Jackson. He said it was to tie between Mr. Freeze and the Titan. Mm-hmm. But he had to write a paper today for something that makes him happy, and I think he wrote about Mr. Freeze, the ride. So
that's cool.
But I didn't feel abandoned whenever like I chose to sit and you didn't sit with me. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I'm not feeling abandoned, even though I felt sick.
Yeah,
and I'm holding all the stuff. I think that's unreasonable.
Yeah, but also Son has to go with the kids too, so I'm just like,
yeah, that's true. Thankful for that, but still, I still think she's in the wrong. Let's see. The overall vote was that he was not the jerk, by the way, for that one. Okay, let's see. This one's kind of funny. This one says, "Am I the jerk for, quote, abandoning my coworker on the side of the road?"
We'll see, apparently.
I always like to get an opinion after the title, but typically it's like misleading. Mm-hmm. Typically. Okay, this says, title makes it sound bad, but that's how my boss is describing it. I was asked to drive a coworker to the company's warehouse so he could pick up a vehicle and bring it back to the office. This coworker has the worst hygiene of anyone I've ever met. He constantly comes into work without showering, and he's admitted that he doesn't brush his teeth every day because it makes his gums bleed. Dude smells like crap 99% of the time and can stink up our average size office, so I was not excited to be giving him a ride in my car. I drove with my windows down, and on the way to the warehouse, we passed through an area that was a residential neighborhood with a bunch of small dairy and livestock farms. He told me, not asked, to roll the windows up because the farms smelled bad. I told him they still smell better than his body odor, and the windows are staying down. It's worth noting that me and this coworker do not get along for reasons other than his poor hygiene. So they're already not friends.
Right.
We start arguing back and forth, and he tells me to pull the car over. So I did just that, and he got out on a street that had a bunch of houses and a convenience store and told me to leave. So I left. Not long after, I got a call from my boss screaming at me for abandoning him in the middle of nowhere and not doing what he asked me to do. I tried to tell him that he voluntarily got out of my car in a residential area, but he wasn't hearing it, and I got told to go pick him up. I replied that I would only get him if he popped a breath mint, and I got told to start my weekend early and not come back until Monday. Feels like a reward to be honest, but am I the jerk?
No, I mean, the guy got out of the car.
Right.
So
he told you to let him out.
I wouldn't have done that in the first place.
What?
Agreed to drive the person.
What if you? Yeah, I forget. Does it say that?
I have to use my car. You're giving me gas money. I'm on the clock right now. What happens if I get into an accident? Are you going to take care of that?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's too much liability and things and stuff there.
Yeah, yeah. But what do you do when the boss asks you? You're just like, no.
Mm-hmm.
They can't hear you by when you nod your head.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's the bad hygiene. Like, that's your choice, right? You're deciding not to shower, brush your teeth, and then you're upset because people think you stink.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. You gotta deal with it.
Not the jerk. The boss has no right to expect you to put up with toxic fumes in your personal vehicle. Work should have paid for an Uber. And then somebody said, poor Uber. And then someone said, at least the Uber gets paid.
Why didn't the boss drive him?
The next comment says,
don't put another. The boss should have driven him in his car.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Or, like, it was a company car he was picking up?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Boss should have yelled at the bad hygiene guy for getting out of the car and not picking up the other vehicle. What was OP supposed to do? Lock him in the car?
Right.
I mean, yeah, he told him to get out, or he told him to stop.
Well, he told him to stop so he could get out.
Yeah. I don't think that's abandoning. You're just following a request.
Yeah. And then you just go back to work. I'm like,
yeah.
I don't know where he is.
He's an adult. Like, what do you want me to do?
Call him.
Have you ever had to drive someone in your car for work?
No.
Not even when you were, like, working with Cody doing fencing stuff? You didn't ever have to drive anyone in your truck?
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Like, just like me and Cedric or whatever.
Yeah.
Drive him to the job.
Well, Cedric's your friend, so you're not going to say he has poor hygiene. I was just wondering if you've ever been in the car with someone who's like...
No, he was never really, like, gross or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yes, there was a time that we can talk about off camera.
Okay. Like, for work?
Yeah.
Okay. What job? Just tell me what job. No? Okay.
Oh, wait, no. It wasn't really work.
Oh.
Sorry.
Oh, okay.
I didn't mean to lie. I just wasn't paying attention.
Okay. Have you ever explored abandoned buildings?
No.
Really? You haven't ever been in anywhere that's, like, been abandoned? That kind of surprises me.
I don't think so.
Have you ever... Well, surely you watch videos. You watch all the videos all the time, but... About abandoned places?
Yes. I have watched, like, people exploring abandoned places and stuff like that.
What's, like, the coolest place you've seen people explore? Sorry. This is right there.
What'd you say?
What's the coolest place you've seen someone explore?
I don't know. I'm not sure off the top of my head.
Yeah. I'm always interested in that. Like, I wish there was a camera we could watch. Like, when did this become abandoned and why? Mm-hmm. Like, what's the last time people were, like, especially a whole abandoned town?
Yeah. Yeah, like, I think that's neat too, like the ghost towns and stuff like that.
Yeah. Like, what causes people to just... Who was the last one to leave that was just like, well, I'm the only one here. Bye.
Usually it's like... a lot of towns like started up during the gold rush and stuff like that, and then when the gold mines dried up, everybody just left.
Yeah.
There was no reason to be there anymore because it was so out of the way and everything.
Yeah. There's just so much stuff that's just left untouched, like drinks half poured. You know what I mean? Like, there's just... It's crazy to go in there I've never been in an abandoned place, really, but I think it would be really cool to explore.
Yeah, maybe the people died or they got arrested or something like that.
Yeah. So this thread, so this is from Ask Reddit, which is this, you can go in and ask a question. And this says, people who like to explore abandoned buildings, what was the biggest forget this, I'm out moment you had while exploring? So like creepy things that have happened.
Yeah.
So this one says, a group of us went into an old abandoned care home. I guess it's like a nursing
home.
Yeah. And then it says, we got in legally.
Those are creepy when they're open.
Can you imagine an abandoned retirement home? Mm-hmm. It was pitch black, and I mean the type of darkness where you cannot see your hand in front of your face, even when you let your eyes adjust. Fortunately, we had a few light sources with us. After walking around and finding copious amounts of evidence that there was squatters staying there, not at the time of our arrival, we found ourselves standing in a room filled with graffiti, but not graffiti from a paint can. This was spelled in dried blood and excrement. The stench was horrendous. We got out of there so quick and have never been back since.
Yeah, that would have been it.
That would have been the creepiest thing?
Yeah, because I would have left.
Yeah.
That would have been the thing.
Yeah.
Send me running.
Yeah. Can you imagine though?
Mm-mm.
No. Let's see.
Not in a nursing home, maybe like an insane asylum or something.
Yeah. Well, it just says care home. That's true. It doesn't say like an old person care home. It says a care home. So that could have been an insane asylum.
Yeah.
But like, no one ever cleaned that off. They just, wrote it in blood and excrement, and then people ditched out. Wild.
Or it happened after it was closed or whatever.
That's true. Oh, okay.
Because a lot of places it's just like dark and all you can see is just graffiti all over the walls.
Yeah. This one is kind of sad. This is a state mental hospital stumbling across an overgrown graveyard full of tiny little headstones with nothing but patient numbers. No names, no dates. The overwhelming inhumanity that all those nameless graves represented hit me at once. I'm not easily frightened, and exploring an abandoned mental institution in the middle of the night had been an exciting adventure until that discovery. Even then, I wasn't afraid, just deeply saddened and nauseated. I lost my curiosity. I felt ashamed to be intruding on a space that had seen levels of human cruelty and suffering far beyond what I could ever imagine, so I left and never went back. Sad.
Mm-hmm. That is sad.
Not even, like it says not even dates, like of their, sometimes you see in a cemetery, they don't know their name, but they put like the date they died or something.
Yeah.
But literally just patient numbers.
Yeah, that is sad.
Not a lot on here. Besides,
I worked in cemeteries a lot, and so you see a lot of like babies, and it'll just be like near the parents or whatever, and it might just say the date, like the year or whatever.
Yeah.
Not really anything else.
Do you think it's because they like died like right when they were born, so they didn't even have a name, or just like?
Probably.
That's sad. Ah.
Or it just like the cost of getting it made.
Yeah.
It's so much money every letter.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, that's true. Okay. This is weird. This says, okay, but. Look. Okay, but. This is a crazy story, and maybe it would explain. Oh, it's like a comment to something else. Never mind. I'm still going to tell you what it says, though, because it's weird. In my undergrad, I took a forensic anthropology class. What's anthropology?
Like the study of dead people?
Oh. Okay. Forensic anthropology class, and our professor told us a story of how they would bury pigs dressed in women's clothing and underwear to study how the clothing breaks down during decomposition. Interesting.
Yeah, like Bones. Have you ever seen that show?
Bones? Mm-mm. It has Zoe Deschanel's sister.
That lady's yeah.
Okay.
That lady's an anthropologist, forensic anthropologist.
So she's studying dead people?
Yeah. So it's like the way they decompose and stuff, and she could I don't know if it's like how much accurate the show is or whatever, but she's just like looks at the skeleton. She's like, "That's a," says her sex and age and all that, and so then they figure out like how they died and stuff, and they're just piecing it together.
Yeah.
From the remains, and then so then they're solving all these unsolved cases.
That's cool. Well, they bury pigs in women's clothing. Blah blah blah. After one such study, they just left the pigs in place and I guess forgot about them. I don't know. Anyway, the story goes that the location they used was just outside the city and was due to be developed into a shopping center. Needless to say, the developers found the pigs, said what in the world, and called the police. Luckily, my professor is also the forensic anthropologist for the police and was able to explain things to them pretty quickly. Weird day for the contractors, I guess.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That would be crazy.
Can you imagine, though? You're just like set to build a Walmart and you're finding pigs buried in women's clothing?
That would be weird. I don't know if we'd call the police, though. I mean, they're just pigs.
You wouldn't?
But they're pigs.
But they're buried in clothes. Like, wouldn't you think something strange was happening?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I would call the boss.
You would call the boss.
Let him decide.
This is not my job.
Mm-hmm. There are people who get paid to do that kind of thing.
Okay, so the next thing I found was like on a therapist thread. So it's like therapists talking to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And so this therapist is like, what in the world are even abandonment issues? And it says a bit of a rant to start, but also would love to hear how other therapists think of this. Seriously, what are abandonment issues?
So we will give our thoughts.
Yeah. Okay, somebody told me the other day that I should be a therapist, and I kind of would like to. But it's so much school.
I feel like most of those people get into it to fix their own problems, and then they mess people up.
Not me. I don't have problems to fix. I am fine.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Generally speaking, people don't like to be rejected, ignored, abandoned, broken up with, etc. I often hear people, not necessarily clients, talking about their abandonment issues and rejection-sensitive dysphoria. And I wonder if we are over-pathologizing really normal parts of the human experience. So I'm curious about what you as clinicians consider to be abandonment issues and how you distinguish that from just like normal emotional vulnerability. And also, how do you help people heal around that? Isn't that interesting? It's a therapist being like, what? We're pathologizing normal human behavior. So this psychologist from British Columbia. What's British Columbia? Is that just Europe? I mean,
it's Canada.
British Columbia is Canada?
Yeah.
Oh, why does it say British? That makes me think it's in London.
It was like a
England
there or something.
I'm making this worse.
You know they're French too.
Who?
Canada.
They're French English?
A lot of people in Canada are French.
Oh.
Speak French.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anything about Canada, I guess. Okay.
They're our neighbors to the north.
So
maple syrup.
Hey.
And the Mounties.
Hey.
Dudley Do Right. You ever watch that cartoon?
No, are you just spouting things off?
No. Snidely Whiplash. That was the bad guy.
What?
In the cartoon.
These words are all fake.
People know what I'm referring to.
Okay.
Alyssa lived under a rock as a child. I think she only went to church and basketball games.
Okay. Anyway, oh no, my cheeks hurt. So this therapist from Canada apparently says abandonment issues is a common parlance term. What is parlance?
I have no idea.
Okay. Not a clinical one. Okay, so it's like a common term, not a clinical one.
Oh.
As such, it doesn't have one official definition. It is vaguely defined and will likely vary depending on who you're asking. Generally speaking, I think most folks use it to mean a negative response to abandonment and or concern about possible future abandonment over and above what one would consider reasonable and appropriate. So it's like everyone...
This is over and above my head.
Basically, they're saying like everyone is scared of being left. Like everyone has a vulnerability about being abandoned. But this is like over and above... And
some people it has a greater effect on or whatever.
Like dreading almost like anxiety, like it kind of blurs the line between you're anxious about something that hasn't happened, you know?
Right.
Because most normal people don't just think about being left all the time. You know what I mean? So it's like people who are like constantly worried about it to the point of like where you're causing it.
Well, if it seems to have been consistent.
That's what they're saying. It's abandonment. It's trauma. Yeah. Trauma-induced abandonment issues. What does another one say?
Especially if it's like as like a baby, and even if it's not like your mom just leaves, like she dies or something like that.
Well, yeah.
And before you make that bond, or you have that bond, you know, and then it's gone. Definitely, you know, that's like a core memory kind of thing.
Yeah. And do you think it's worse?
Be worried about.
Do you think it's worse before you have that bond, or once you already have the bond?
Probably worse after.
After, yeah. You know what you're missing. This one says, generally it means a profound early attachment injury that plays out in subsequent interpersonal patterns.
That's what I said.
Yeah. Yes, I'm just jazzing it up a little bit, or they're jazzing it up. I'm not. It's not my words.
I said it in layman's terms, which I
am. Anything that's not a secure attachment. Okay. This one says, we have a psychiatrist at my clinic who loves diagnosing borderline and always makes it a point to put in his notes, fear of abandonment. Like, bro, find me one person who doesn't. Yeah. Therapists like harping on each other. It's kind of fun. Anyway, so that's kind of just what abandonment issues are. So this next story says, mom abandoned family and we abandoned her back. Okay. When I, 23 male, was 18, I found out my mom was messaging with someone online who lived in another state. One day she decided to fly over there and meet him. She was supposed to stay for a week. At first, I thought that was awesome. I got the whole house to myself for a week. Excuse me. But the 1 week turned into 2 weeks, and then 3 weeks, and then eventually a month. Everyone kept asking when she would come back, but she never gave a definitive answer. After about 2 months, I get a call from her saying that she was staying over there and that I was now in charge of the house, which meant I had to pay all the bills. I refused, but she insisted I pay them since she was no longer living there. I told her, well, she needs to come back and do something with the house because it's under her name and it is not my responsibility. After that, she hung up on me and wouldn't answer my calls or text. Just in case she tried something, I packed up and went to my dad's house. Well, when bill time came, she sent me all the links to payment sites, but I ignored them. When she saw I didn't pay them, she called me screaming, saying I'm irresponsible and I'll get in trouble for not paying them. I told her that wasn't my responsibility, especially since I'm living with my dad. She said she hopes I end up homeless and hung up on me.
It's crazy.
Yeah. She also tried to get other family members to pay the bills, and she didn't want to sell the house because she wanted somewhere to stay when she visits. She gave up and came back to sell the house. In the time she was here, we rarely had any contact. And when she eventually moved back to her new boyfriend, we contacted even less. I only knew how her life was going because of social media. The family was devastated that she just abandoned us. It took some time, but we were able to move on. It's been 5 years since then, and I recently got a message from my mom asking if her and her family can come stay with me. I'm not the first one she asked. She went to a couple others first, but was rejected each time. Apparently, she has no support system over there, and she needs help. She's a stay-at-home mom, and her husband got fired. They're having trouble making ends meet and want to stay with someone until they get back on their feet. I rejected her as well, saying I have no room and also want nothing to do with her. That didn't go over well, and now she's blasting the family on social media saying we are abandoning her in her time of need. It's ridiculous that she doesn't see the irony in her own words. She's texted us nonstop saying how we have a duty as family to help. We even get texts from her new husband calling us horrible family members. We have all blocked them since then, and 2 weeks have passed, and things have been silent on her end.
No, mom's a piece of crap.
Yeah. I cannot even... It doesn't say, like, who else lived there, but it says us. Like, she abandoned us. But yeah, he was 18, and mom left, started a new family, and said, you are going to get in trouble with the law for not paying bills? it's like insanity.
It's not in his name or anything.
No, he's like, nothing's in my name. I'm living with my dad. Like, what are you going to do? She wanted to go do whatever she wanted and leave no responsibility behind. Mm-hmm. Talk about abandonment issues, though. Because it wasn't even at first like, hey, I'm moving. It was just like, hey, yeah, I'll be back in a week.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just like, what? Mm-hmm. I think that would just make me mad. I think I'm being grown already.
At 18?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd just be like, forget you, Mom.
Yeah. And then 5 years later, coming back with brand new, like, babies and being like, help me?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely. How do you say that?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely. No, you say
it. Absolutely not.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So, this is not like a am I the jerk thing. It's just, that's from True Off My Chest. It's just like a place to rant or whatever. Mm-hmm. It says, unfortunately, selfish narcissists don't recognize their own hypocrisy typically.
Yeah. That's for sure.
I'm trying to find another comment. Yeah, basically that's just sad, but it will. I mean, that would cause some abandonment issues. Mm-hmm. People don't realize. Okay, this one. This is from the thread attachment theory, and this says, "Why do I have abandonment issues when I've never been abandoned?"
I don't know.
This is the person's question. I'm going to read you their thing.
Okay, read it.
Okay. I don't understand why I have such bad abandonment issues. My parents are happily married. I grew up in a relatively wealthy family, and I was pretty spoiled. I have a lot going for myself. It's kind of... I'm pretty good looking. I get good grades. I have a promising career ahead of me. I travel a lot. But there's always just this fear in the back of my mind that everyone is going to leave me. However, I disappointed my parents a lot. Growing up, I was very quiet and shy and would struggle to even make eye contact with people. There were so many times at family gatherings where my parents would notice me being shy, or someone would ask if I had special needs. Whenever one of these incidents happened, on the car ride home, they would yell at me. It would be times where they would tell me that maybe they can adopt another girl to be their daughter, and I would be adopted into a poor family. School wasn't any easier. I got picked on a lot because I was so quiet. I remember times where I would be the last person picked to be on a team, or I would be eating lunch by myself. I would make friends, but they all left me one way or another. Some girls left because they wanted to be more popular. Other girls betrayed me and did bad things to me. Sometimes I was part of the...
being abandoned.
Huh?
Was that not being abandoned?
I know, right? I got bullied and I would go home crying to my parents, but they told me the same thing.
You get over it. I don't know. Well, that's what I'm saying. If you had the friends that
abandon you, then you have a reason.
Yeah, even if it's just like in your head.
Well, yeah, like abandonment issues don't have to come from your parents necessarily.
Right.
Could be a long-term relationship.
Or a boyfriend or girlfriend. It doesn't have to be like that.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Friendships or, a relationship, or it could be like a grandparent or somebody that you were close to that like left and never said bye.
Especially the circumstances of them not being your friend anymore.
Yeah. Or just your parents.
Little girls are really mean.
Sometimes little kids are really mean. Yeah. Boys and girls.
Yeah.
But
particularly girls.
Huh?
Particularly
Were you bullied by a little girl?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No.
Can you imagine if your parents were like, you better start talking at parties or we're going to let a poor family adopt you? That's like the stupidest thing.
I'm like, poorer than us?
This family. Or we're going to let a rich family adopt you.
That's retarded.
Yeah. It's stupid. Some people were not meant to be parents.
My initial reaction was all the stuff she was describing. Or they, I don't know. It was a girl, right?
Yeah.
I was like, you're afraid of being abandoned because people are going to find out that there's no substance to you. You're just all this stuff.
Yeah, at the beginning of the story.
Yeah.
Yeah. This comment says, you've never been abandoned, but you've been threatened with abandonment, which is why you have a fear of it.
Yeah.
That your parents made you feel like
if I don't do right, then I'm going to get abandoned.
Exactly. Yeah. And this person was like, there you go. That's exactly where it comes from. You don't act a certain way. We're going to leave you, replace you, abandon you.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
That's got to cause dysfunction. Yeah. Oh. Okay, I have one more. This one says, am I the jerk for breaking up with my partner due to their abandonment issues?
I don't know.
Okay. Oh.
Stop doing that.
It's like I want to bring my phone up to my face so I can read it better, but then my microphone's in the way. Okay. We broke up last night due to a pretty big fight we had about not going on a weekend trip. She wanted to go, but I did not for financial reasons.
Yeah, no wonder.
We just had a big vacation a couple weeks ago, so I needed a break from spending money. Did you write this?
No.
When I said I did not want to go, I triggered her abandonment issues, which I have also triggered in the past. We fought about it essentially all last week. Then on the day she was scheduled to leave, it boiled over. I asked her if she was still planning on going. She said yes. And then I told her I was glad she was going despite my reservations and that I hope she has a good time. I was being truthful, not trying to be sarcastic at all. I also acknowledged that we should talk more about the abandonment issues when she got back so we can work on a solution together. From there, she broke down further, saying she still felt abandoned, and it was leading her to question everything. I tried to give her assurances that I was committed to the relationship, but it just kept spiraling until she said she might as well be single so she can leave this place we live in. That really upset me. I love living here, and obviously it pained me to know that she is miserable here. When she got back into town, I was still hurt. I needed space and time to reflect further, so I asked for it, once again assuring her that I was committed to a solution. Instead of acknowledging my need for space, she sent a long text about how she felt about the relationship. She stated that every couple we know is together 24/7 and we are the only ones who are not. She said she wants something closer to what everyone else has. She said I needed to be with someone who wants to live here with my family, and she could never be that person. She ended it by saying she thought we could both find what we want in other people eventually. I was crushed because to me this was a breakup text. I finally gave up. I text back that I agreed with her that we have different ideas of what a healthy relationship looks like, and that we should end it here so we can both be happy. I blocked her after that. I will not go into full details here, but even though I blocked her, I still received a flurry of messages, both loving and hateful, after she realized what was happening. She called me a coward for breaking up via text. I did not want to end this relationship, but I was tired. It was getting unhealthy and toxic. Should I have given her another chance? Am I the jerk for committing to the breakup?
No. I think the girl sounds like a jerk.
Yeah.
You left to go on a trip or whatever, or want to. Not the other way around.
Right.
You're leaving, and mad the other person doesn't want to go.
Yeah.
You don't have to be together 24/7.
Right.
You don't have to be together 7/7.
7 hours, 7 days a week. How many hours a day are we together? No, besides the weekend.
Oh, for you? A couple? 2 or 3?
3, 7?
Something like that. Like an hour in the morning and...
Yeah, in the morning probably more so even than the evening.
During the day mostly.
Yeah.
Most days.
Here's my thing with this story is like, no, he's obviously not a jerk. Oh my word, dogs. He didn't even like not want to go to not be with her. They went on a trip a couple weeks ago, and she's mad that he wants to save money.
Exactly.
Speaking of.
Mm-hmm. What does this sound like? Okay.
No.
That's what you keep
It's implying. Not the same. No, I know. It does. It does sound like something you would say, like I'm always the one who wants to go do something, and you're like, no, we need a break from spending money. And then I'm like, but look at this deal. Yeah. That's just funny because I'll have to talk to you off air about something I found. Anyway.
And then we go, anyway. And we get back, and it's like, we don't have any money, blah, blah, blah.
But you know what we do have? Memories. Okay, but listen. When we're old, I'm not saying to be irresponsible, and I'm not saying I would get mad at you. I wouldn't. First of all, if you said you didn't want to go on a trip, I wouldn't go. This is just not me. I don't know. I wouldn't just go by myself.
Yeah, you wouldn't go by yourself. You would just convince me to
go. or we would just not go.
Or you would just book the flights and everything before talking to me about it.
I have never booked flights without talking to you.
Maybe not that extreme.
Let's hear it. What about?
There's this dog, and she's cute, and I already said that we wanted her.
No, I sent you a screenshot of the dog, and I said, look how cute she is. And I had already said no when I found out she was in Arkansas.
That's what it was with Luna.
Well, I didn't say. I said we were going to go look at her.
Mm-hmm.
And then we did go look at her, and then we drove off with her.
Mm-hmm.
Luna. Poor baby Luna.
Yep, she was sweet.
She was sweet. Anyway.
Elsa likes to spend money.
You like to spend money too.
But I can refrain.
I can refrain. I think I am worse about spending money than you are, but only ever so slightly. Can we agree to that?
Sure.
We'll have to do like a financially responsible episode later. If you'd like to hear us fight on air, tune in 2 weeks to the financially responsible episode. Okay, some of the episodes. It's my bedtime. You're waking up, but I'm going to bed.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the comments. Not the jerk. She is manipulating you. Abandonment is when one partner leaves another. You didn't leave. You just didn't want to go and spend more money. Let her go. She's being controlling and childish, and don't look back. You won't be happy with this one.
Yeah.
Technically, she left him. That's not the jerk. Do you even want to be with someone 24/7? Ugh.
Seriously.
I could read Reddit the comments all day. They're so funny when people just roasting each other.
Mm-hmm.
And someone says, are we not even going to talk about the fact that she broke up with him? Or was that just bait to see what he would say?
Right.
This is not abandonment. Fear is being triggered. This is someone manipulating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway. So abandonment and abandoned places, abandoned relationships.
Abandoned dreams.
Abandoned dreams. Do you have abandoned dreams?
Doesn't everybody?
Some people may not. What's your abandoned dream?
They gave up a dream for dream.
What's the dream that you abandoned?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
I abandoned my dream of being a marine biologist. Did you know that?
No.
Do you know why I abandoned that dream?
Why?
Because it required way more math and science than I thought. I thought it was going to be fun playing with animals.
Have to scuba dive and stuff.
Yeah. So I went to SeaWorld when I was really little. I was like, I am going to be a dolphin trainer. That's what I wanted to be for a long time.
I'm glad you didn't do that.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't want to be married to a dolphin trainer?
Mm-hmm.
No?
Those things shouldn't be in captivity.
No.
Them and the whales and stuff. They're too smart.
Yeah.
They're bored in a box.
Oh, yeah. But then couldn't you claim that we shouldn't put dogs and cats inside too? Because they're too smart. They could be out there doing whatever they wanted to instead of at our beck and call.
Do you think the cats are at our beck and call?
That's true. We put them outside and they don't leave. But that's just because we feed them.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you let the dolphins go, I'm not disagreeing with you. I think absolutely, especially the whales, like they live in like a tiny, tiny little home.
Mm-hmm.
But do you think if the dolphins, you let them go and you continue to just like feed them, that they'd stay around or they'd go take off?
They'd probably leave. You
think so?
They might come back.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, that's the dream that I abandoned. That's what I want it to be. What dream did you abandon? What do you want to be that you gave up on? Or quote unquote gave up on?
A therapist.
You wanted to be a therapist?
Yeah.
Let's go to therapy school together.
No.
Why not? Oh.
It's too long.
Okay, so I have a bachelor's degree. What else do I need to do to get a therapist's license?
You need like 8 more years of school.
No way. 8 more on top of the 4 I already had?
10 or something like
Holly.
That's a long time.
Text me. What else do I need if I want to be a therapist? Yeah, she's a therapist. She runs a therapy center. Yeah. You didn't know that?
I didn't know what she did.
Let's play a game. What do all my friends do for a living? Do you know anything about that?
You know what Jeremy does?
No. I have zero clue what Jeremy does. What does Jeremy do?
He's like a consultant at Orion. They manufacture liquid hydrogen and liquid nitrogen and stuff like that. So it's like really complex, like refrigeration systems and stuff, because it has to be kept at such a temperature to be liquid.
Huh.
And so he goes to all these different plants and basically like gets them in ship shape. So like the managers, you know, it's like, well, like we're losing money, or this isn't as efficient as it could be, and and he goes and advises them and stuff. And it's crazy because it's just such a weird, goofy dude.
Yeah.
But he's like a chemist manager.
He's incredibly smart.
Yeah. No, yeah, he's super intelligent.
So like Ashton, this is like fun facts about the stewards to end the episode, but Ashton is just like him. He's so smart.
Yeah.
Like math and stuff is just like he's just so up there smart. Anyway, so if you ever wanted to know about our friends, the stewards. If you need
help with math, ask Jeremy.
And if you need therapy, ask Holly.
Not Alyssa.
Maybe me eventually. I'm going to be a therapist one day. Watch.
We're just going to start doing it on the podcast.
Yes.
Just airing out.
Oh my God. What
laundry.
No, that's not what we're doing. God, please keep listening, people.
This is going to be like the Jerry Springer show.
Oh my gosh. I just watched an episode. Anyway. We should do an episode where people can call in and ask us questions.
Yeah.
But they'd have to be... We'd have to like give people a time. This is not like a live. We'd have to do like a live show or tell our friends to call us and ask us questions.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
That would be interesting.
Okay. Don't ever leave me. Don't ever abandon me.
You know what Tristana would ask.
What would she ask? Have you seen my nose?
Till the next episode.
Bye, guys.